Good evening. We're speaking to jazz artist SGrant at Jazz Tastings in New York City.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
You have been in the industry for 15 years. What drives you to become who you are?
Well, I always like to achieve the goals that I set for myself. I want to become a man of integrity, and I'm a man internally at peace and focused. This is what drives me to become the best I can be in the music industry.
What have you learned implementing these principles?
Implementing these principles, I've learned focus, patience, and integrity, and how to block out the negative thoughts. I've also learned how to respect these limitations.
Define respecting limitations.
What I mean by respecting limitations, I mean that I can push through them without faltering. When I found out my purpose when I started winning awards for the stuff for my craft. Being recognized for the craft that you do, and when you get great at it, is actually a really humble experience.
As I said before, you've been around for a while. What is your occupation?
I'm a freelance jazz saxophonist. I compose and arrange music also.
How did you get to this point?
It wasn't hard to decide to do music. Ever since I was a child, my father played sax and I always loved hearing it, but it did take work.
What did you do after graduating college to pursue your career?
After receiving my degree, I joined the Musicians Union and I signed on with a few big bands and played across the country.
What do professional musicians do on a daily basis?
Lots of practice and dedication. We apply for gigs a lot, and interacting with musicians is a must.
What do you need to do to work in this industry?
You need to have the confidence to apply the skills that you've learned. Also, some musicians don't come from scholastic backgrounds, while others do.
Most musicians have had a great mentor or tutor. Does this include you?
Yes, Joshua Senton. He was my personal tutor and a great musician. He actually graduated from the Performing Arts program at UCF. He works at Universal Studios and did gigs across the United States. I actually had to interview him for SLS class.
Why was Joshua Senton your first choice?
His career path was very similar to mine. He also gave me some good tips for the future, so I thought it would have been great to pick him, and he's my tutor. He also is a very great role model.
What is the one thing that Joshua said that stayed with you?
He always said to fight for every single bit of skill that I obtained.
What's your college background?
I graduated Valencia with an associate's degree, and I graduated UCF with a bachelor's in jazz studies.
How do these institutions affect your goals?
Confidence. I started something and I finished it. I've learned that once I was able to apply myself, I will succeed.
Again, how do these institutions help you to succeed?
Valencia showed me the real world, but in this reality, they had many resources to help me succeed.
And how were they able to do that?
I was able to talk to the counselors freely about my goals and the other departments. For example, the Atlas and the Career Centers.
And how did they do that?
I used the Atlas Center to help me schedule courses, and I used the Career Center for career planning. One of the most hard courses for me at the time was SLS.
Why?
Miss McKnight, my teacher, was very rigorous. She made students have to remember every aspect of their lives so that they can reach their career goal professionally and personally.
Was this an expensive process? How did you deal with the cost?
Fortunately, while I was at Valencia doing my associate's degree, I was a dual enrollment student, so Orange County paid off that for me. But when I moved over to UCF, I had to use my financial aid to pay off my bachelor's degree.
Mr. Grant, it was a pleasure having you on the show. We have a little clip we want to show of you playing. Is that okay?
Okay, sure. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. Take care.